Hi, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Angela Bosley. I am a Canadian citizen currently residing in Canada, but also I am a Nigerian permanent resident, as I did reside there for 4.5 years. So I'm very aware of what's going on in Nigeria, particularly. So today we're going to discuss and go right into learning about different visas you can apply for on your own with the US Embassy, online application, all of that. But we're going to discuss the 3 top visas that people are looking for in Africa as a whole, which is your B1B2 business and tourist visa, your work visa, as well as your study permit or visa. So stay tuned as we go through those definitions and help educate you on those particular visa categories. All right, stay tuned. So today's episode, we're going to talk about how we start with the application of a US visa. And the first and foremost thing, this is the best website that you can go to find any country that needs to go through the process. So you want to log on to www.ustraveldocs.com. And this is what it looks like. So when you find this page, we're going to go step by step. And because I'm a permanent resident of Nigeria and I know Nigeria very well, we're going to go down to the ends and click on their link to make us to move us into the appropriate site for Nigeria. Okay, so we are going to discuss today the visa types. Not many people know what different visa types there are, but we're going to go through that in this video. We're going to talk about the visa types and do the overview. Okay, we will go over every category, every section, but this is our season episode 1 of our apply for a US visa segment. Okay, so generally a citizen of a foreign country who wishes to enter the United States must first obtain a visa, either a non-immigrant visa for temporary stay or an immigrant visa for permanent residence. Citizens of qualified countries may be able to visit the U.S. without a visa under a visa waiver program. Unfortunately, there's not many African countries that can do that, so you will need to apply for a visa. All travelers coming to the U.S. or the United States under the visa waiver program must obtain authorization through the electronic system for travel authorization, the ESTA system, prior to initiating a travel to the U.S. That doesn't pertain to us right now. I'm not going to go too much into that at all. We're just going to go right straight into the common non-immigrant visas. So let's take a look at the most common one, which is the B1B2 business and tourist visa. Okay, so just click on there. This will give you an overview. Okay, the B1B2 visit visa is for people traveling to the US temporarily for business or for pleasure or even medical treatment. Generally, the B1 visa is for travelers consulting with business associates, okay, attending scientific, educational, professional, or business conventions and conferences, settling an estate, or negotiating contracts. The B2 visa is for the travel that is recreational in nature, including tourism, visits with friends or relatives, medical treatment, and activities of a fraternal, social, or service nature. Often the B1 and B2 visas are combined and issued on one visa, the B1B2. Okay, that is self-explanatory. You're going there to visit or for business. Okay, you cannot work with a B1, B2, but certainly can attend meetings, can attend anything to do with the business aspect without having to work. Okay, if you apply for the B1, B2 visa, you must demonstrate to the consular officer that you qualify for a U.S. visa in accordance with the U.S. Immigration and Nationality Act, the INA. Section 214B of the INA presumes that every B1B2 applicant is an intending immigrant. You must overcome this legal presumption by showing the following, okay? That the purpose of your trip to the UA is for a temporary visit, such as business, pleasure, or medical treatment. So you see what they're saying, temporary, okay? Temporary, meaning you're going there for a short time and you're returning back. Now, with the USA, you are eligible to stay for up to 6 months on a tourist visa on the B1B2, but you're gonna have to prove that you're coming back. Okay, and that's very simple with your itinerary or what have you. And then the business aspect, you definitely need to show that you are a business typically here and that you're going to meetings or a collaboration or what have you. Also when you're going to go for education purposes like a conference, those types of things, that's when you would use this. And then your medical treatment, right? If you have a medical treatment that you need to take, of course you need to prepare for that too with certain documentations. Okay, that you plan to remain in the USA for a specific limited period of time. Again, I emphasize the temporary visit. So you need to have when you're going to travel and when you're going to return. Okay, evidence of funds to cover your expenses while in the US. Okay, another important thing, if they feel that you don't have enough money, you will be denied. Okay, you need to show that you have a running account and that you have a good flow of money going into the account. Don't think of committing fraud and having a statement of account created for you, because if they ever catch you, and they could ask for your financials at the interview. They know what they're looking for. So if you put yourself in that position, there is huge consequences. You can be banned from reapplying up to 10 years. You can be charged with fraud. There's so many repercussions of such a decision. So please be very careful and be very wise when you supply such documents. Okay, and that you have residence outside the U.S. as well as other binding social or economic ties. So what this really means is that they feel with confidence that you will return back to your country. Proving your ties to the country and the financial aspect are probably the most important aspects of proving in your application. So meaning that you have family here in your country, that you have a job, that you're coming back to business, whatever the case may be, that you are going to return. That is very, very critical, and definitely you need to understand that. Okay, so when you are applying for that, you have to be very, very good with your documentation. So we're not going to go further than this. We're going to go to the next one, which is a work visa. Let's talk about the work visa. The overview is if you want to work in the U.S. temporarily as a non-immigrant under the U.S. immigration law, you need a specific visa based on the type of work you will be doing. Okay, most temporary worker categories require that your prospective employer or agent filed a petition, which must be approved by the U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services in the United States before you can apply for a work visa. This is very important because there is a lot of fraud around the work and job offer. And I'm going to go into it for a little bit, is you need to be very, very careful and you need to understand what you are looking at. You cannot go to an agent, so you think as a recruiter, and trust what they are saying. 9 times out of 10, the document is fraudulent, okay? There is a process to getting a work permit. There is a process to applying for a job offer, and there's also a process to applying for a work permit. It's not something that happens in 2 weeks, as agents will tell you. You pay X amount of Naira, X amount of your currency, and you will have a job offer. It doesn't happen that way. You need to understand and recognize, and we will go into that more in detail in another video. We will really touch base on what to look for with a fraudulent document. Okay, so all applicants here, HL, PQ, and R visas must have a petition approved of on their behalf by the USCIS. The petition, and there's a form right here that needs to be approved, okay, right here. The form I-129 must be approved before you can apply for a work visa at the embassy in Abuja or the consulate in Lagos. Remember, the petition needs to be approved. The employer or agent will receive a notice of action, form 1797, which serves as your petition approval notification. Again, be very, very careful, because if you are not doing this yourself and you are entrusting a local consultancy, which, we know in Africa, fraud is very high when it comes to such things. So be very, very careful. Okay, do your research, do your due diligence. If you receive anything, you need to do that. Okay, so the work visa description and qualifications. Okay, I'm not going to go into all of this because there's quite a few, but I certainly want you to take your time and see where you fit into this. This right here, religious worker, may be very successful in Nigeria or Africa as a whole, as a very religious country, or your international culture exchange participant. There's so many areas that you can look for when it comes to the work visa. So please, I talked about being careful on the job, the job offers, sorry, and just very, very specifically go into detail and read the information, okay? So there's a lot of options for you. Next, we're going to talk about the student visa. These are probably the top 3 visas that are applied for within Africa. Okay, so the United States welcomes foreign citizens who come to the U.S. to study. Before applying for a visa, all student visas applicants are required to be accepted and approved by their school or program. Once accepted, the educational institutions will provide each applicant the necessary approval documentation to be submitted when applying for a student visa. Very, very important. That is the first step that you need to take when you are going to go to the U.S. as a student. It has to be very specific. Make sure that you have a recognized school. There's different qualifications for school. For example, you go down here, you will read that the U.S. public school, the U.S. law does not permit foreign students to attend public elementary school, which is your primary school here, kindergarten to the 8th grade. So primary school, and then you're going into your JS grades, okay? Or a publicly funded adult educational program. Hence, the F1 visa cannot be issued for study at such schools. So they're very specific on what they are allowing to be part of the education sector when being eligible for that particular visa. but also you need to understand that they're looking more along the lines of secondary school, like you're looking into high school. So your secondary school in Africa. An F1 visa can be issued for attendance at a public secondary school. Okay, so grades 9 to 12 is what we would say in Canada. But the student is limited to a maximum of 12 months at the school. The school must also indicate on that I-20 that the student has paid the unsubsidized cost of the education and the amount submitted by the student for that purpose. So they have, there's very strict rules. I'm not going to go through all of this, but just know that it is here. It's easy for you to go through if you are thinking about doing the student visa. Now, the next ones here are not as popular, but do take your time and review them and see how you would be eligible to apply for such visas. But typically, the 3 top visas that are applied for in Africa is the business tour visa, the work visa, and the student visa. Okay, I hope this was very educational for you. I hope it's going to build your confidence, knowing that you can do this yourself. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode, where we will discuss other topics around applying for your U.S. visa. Thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up if you found this video helpful. Take care of yourself. We'll see you in the next video. I hope you found that demonstration helpful for you in really understanding what you need to do to move forward. And those categories are the most popular. I'm not going into the other categories unless there's a request for it, but we are going to talk you through stage by stage and what it takes to get to the interview. And so stay tuned. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss those. Give us a thumbs up if you found the information informative, if you know people who want to travel, and don't forget to click on the bell notification, because that's going to keep you up to date every time a video is uploaded, especially in this category. We're starting the process into going and seeing how you can apply for your US visa online yourself. You don't need to get involved with any agent, and do it yourself. It's that easy, and you will build your confidence, and let's do this together. Okay? I welcome you in the upcoming videos. And again, do share my video if you know anyone that can certainly benefit from the information. You take care of yourself, and we will see you in the next video. All right, take care.